Hey yo, many perspectives. Get caught up in disadvantage. The Nubian, nullifying all of this madness. Passive aggressive, I always reduce my effort when it come to mics. Fully respected before you check it, but my pockets looking naked. Who is there out to blame? When you started rock bottom, then came up just like the Wayne. That flame, yo, the flame, still off the chain. Phoenix out the fire, but his belly still know that pain. Still know that cold shoulder when head was next to drain. Still know that last seat green line moving on train. Still know the go, gotta keep moving, do not defrain. They say you underground, sure these young as Andy Dufresne. Crawling through the muck, trying to get bucks, not giving up. If you wake enough, grab on some horns and shake it up. Life. Man, I know that this shit is tough, life's a bitch, but that don't mean you ninjas should make it up. This that new, this that, yeah. This that, whip. Right through the traffic, MJ leaning on scooter. This that, yeah. That from computers, cover snipers, so do ya. This that new, Ruby music, chillin' for Buddha music. This that, yeah. This that, whip. Right through the traffic, MJ leaning on scooter. This that, yeah. That from computers, cover snipers, so do ya. Paradigm, yo. Paradigm or paradigm. I gotta shout out my ninja Panay. I sit and ponder, sit and cucumber before the pickle. I sit and figure how to dismember all of these riddles. 66 spinning my shit, pushing the pedal, my lungs level. Time to go lift. Time do not drift. I'm focused, maximizing my gift. Those who Verizon gonna see me when I'm off the cliff. Connected. I'm loaded just like potatoes. I'm fully loaded to all these pin pushing Geppettos. Trying to keep these turbulent waters, they need to settle. Cause that bass gets me high and that snare bring out that rebel. Wait, woo. I am solar, the Ayatollah. Getting high as Jehovah to comprehend the cobra. Blow your spot and leave you wishing you had a clover. Now you're just another Boba Fett in a Chevy. This that new, this that, yeah. This that, whip. Right through the traffic, MJ leaning on scooter. This that, yeah. That from computers, cover snipers, so do ya. This that new, Ruby music, chillin' for Buddha music. This that, yeah. This that, whip. Right through the traffic, MJ leaning on scooter. This that, yeah. That from computers, cover snipers, so do ya.
Send a letter bomb to your editor, personally describing a horror scene, blow your mind like the Predator. Sever your preconceptions by stating the facts. Them dudes laying the vocals, Gene Panay. Sports talk, entertainment, news and politics, relationships, logical steps and common sense. Topics of conversation for the masses to connect. After the broadcast, give you reasons to reflect. Respect all opinions, but we're here to serve the core audience food for thought. Welcome to Furthermore.
Furthermore. Hey.
When two or more gather.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What it do? What it do? Morning, Muda.
Good morning.
I had to call you Morning, Muda.
Morning, Muda.
You say you was flying down the highway this morning?
I was flying down 285.
I know you waiting for that. I'm alone. Shout it.
But I came up 85. Like, yeah, I did make up the time on the highway. I won't even lie, because it said I would get here at 10:07. I put in like 9:59.
Oh, you was dancing. You was out there dancing on the lights.
Oh, weaving in and out. Got to 85 was clear.
It was.
Yes, and my schedule and where I work at, I'm never not in traffic.
This is true. I can concur with that. 285, 75, 675.
Yeah, I gotta go the whole left side of the 285.
You ride the left side? I ride the
whole left side. Like I'm
right.
down there by the airport. I'll go up to the Northridge exit. So I gotta ride 285 up to 400.
Yeah, I've learned to just drive in the right lane because the right lane move faster than the left.
Don't it?
I don't know what people be doing on the left side,
Don't
but
it?
I want to send out a PSA to everybody in Atlanta. I don't know if you black, white, Asian, Mexican, Hispanic, Latino, Arabian, Arabic, whatever. Get your ass out the left lane.
Get out,
on the speed
please.
limit. Get your ass
Please.
out the left lane doing the speed limit. The left lane is made for passing and for progressing.
That's
if you are going the same, let me put it like this, not you. If somebody is going the same speed as you going to your right side, you need to get your ass all the way over to the shoulder lane. I don't know what folks is doing out here in this traffic, but stop playing in traffic. People got stuff to do, places to be, and shit to get done.
That's right.
So
you gotta head into work.
Said, what up, Smoke? Gene Panay, we got everybody in the building.
Yo, what's good?
What up?
John Wilkes is not in today. He had to take care of some things, but
so we had to balance out the color today. You know,
right?
The opaque one,
right?
Is not here.
He's not transparent today. He's just really not here.
Yeah, that's it.
We're gonna keep things moving accordingly.
He could be here in all yellow. You never know.
He might be behind the green screen. I would not be surprised if this ninja is behind the green screen. But how y'all doing over there in the control room? Everybody had a great week?
We're good, yeah. Yeah.
Had a pretty productive week.
Yeah, I had a great week. I got pulled over by Cobb County's punk ass finest yesterday.
Not Cobb County.
Yeah, Cobb County's punk ass finest. Yeah.
Cobb County, I hate Cobb. And listen, we all know Clayco is the worst county to get pulled over, and I hate all the other counties. But Cobb is just, they're paid well. So I feel like they're paid assholes. Like, they're the highest paid police officers in most of the counties, Cobb and Gwinnett.
I agree. But are they still checking the people? I think they need to do a more thorough check on who they hire and how they hire. Because it really take a certain type of individual to want to become a police officer. But then there's also people who want to become police officers for different reasons.
For the power of it.
I mean, that's the broad, it's a power trip, it's a power hunger, but.
And a lot of them is PTSD driven, I feel like, because they come from the Army.
Yeah.
Being a police officer. So, like, they really on train to kill, train to shoot mode.
Right. Because they think everything is a super hostile threat.
Right.
So, depending on where you're policing and who you're policing, I think Cobb County, with them being as well paid as they are, they should have a little bit more discernment.
I agree.
That area shouldn't be an area where they're running around with their hands on the gun.
I agree.
Like, if you're in Cobb County, then it should be safe space to do some proper policing, I would think. But I had an incident yesterday with an officer who I just thought he was looking for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could tell when somebody looking for a reason, when somebody want confrontation, and when somebody don't really want confrontation, or they're trying to de-escalate a situation.
Right.
That's the term that they I believe that they're taught, escalating and de-escalating situations. And when you're talking to somebody and you're trying to get to a resolution, you don't want to be threatening.
Right.
I'm not going to sit here and talk to you like, yeah, man, so yeah, what was all that smack you was talking? Because then that insinuates that I might want to whoop on that ass. So yeah, to them punk ass cops out there in Cobb County, man, y'all do. I hope that you all would do a better job with finding some decent police officers who not out here for the bullshit.
It's just crazy because that's a really diverse area. You want those diverse cops, but even we always talk about white police officers, but there are other races that have like their inner, racist things that they believe.
Right.
I feel like if you're policing an area, especially if the area is predominantly black, you got to get in tune with the community as well.
Definitely do. And I don't even know what I don't know what the area is. I don't know what what type of people they got over there. I was in the wrong. I ran through a light. Through a red light. The light had turned red right before I got to it. I mean, it's not an excuse. I mean, there is an explanation to what was going on, but again, I ran a red light.
So that's ownership of it. You ran the red light, and it was nothing that you were hostile in regards to. I
wasn't. I pulled over immediately. Once I ran the red light, because I was trying to get to a gas station. But once I realized that the fuzz was behind me, I pulled over slowly, not erratically. Pulled over slowly into a shopping mart parking lot, and just pulled over and had my ID waiting out the window for him. And, the first officer who came, who was a supervisor, hey, man, so what's going on? Everything going all right? He giving me the fishing questions, but it was really like a hostile
Like, yeah, okay, now we got
their
your
approach to you was hostile.
The approach was hostile. They were doing their job. They were using the right verbiage and everything that they need to do to conduct, to conduct their investigation is what is going on. But just his energy about it. That's like if I'm coming in, I'm trying to find out who you are. If I'm coming to you like, yo, where you from? Where you grew up with?
Right.
It's almost like, nigga, like what do you want to know
Right.
for?
So
Like,
for
who are
passing
you?
a stop sign is, let me get your license registration, but it's let me get your license registration.
Right.
So.
What what are you doing? And then he all in the car. And I ain't even know his homeboy, the punk ass one that I'm talking about. I ain't even know he was snooping around, on the backside on the other side. He didn't even identify himself. Or,
Right.
He just back there lurking. So after I'm talking to this cop, I finally.
So there's now 3 officers out there?
2 officers out there.
Okay.
2 for stop or whatnot. I don't know if he was training first day or whatever the case may be. But either way, yeah, so, after I'm talking to him, the other officer comes on the other side and, I'm sitting there waiting on him to go check my credentials or whatnot. The other officer asked me to pull up some information that I need to go through my phone for.
Right.
When I start going through my phone, the other officer's like, stop fidgeting. Stop reaching, man. You're making me nervous. I'm making you nervous.
Right.
Like he said that?
He said out of his mouth, and I'm telling you, I'm going to file a formal complaint because I want them to look at. He had body cam. Both of them had body cams on. I want them to review the footage, their verbiage, and everything. Because again, cops are trained and they learn and they know what to say and how to say it.
Right.
They're supposed to be able to corroborate a story or to be able to give you their best point of view of what happened in their account or situation. So when he said, you're making me nervous, again, my whole radar went all the way up to.
Right, because that's something you can say for the next reason for you to shoot. And
Exactly.
It's on body camera.
When he said that, I looked in my side mirror and his hand was on his pistol. It was unlatched and it was about 2 inches raised out of the holster. And I'm like, for a trap, for me running through
A stop sign.
through a stop sign. I gave you my license.
Right.
You got my information.
Right.
All I'm getting is the registration. That's what I
Right.
had to go through my phone and find a picture of the registration and shit. So he
That's
over
how
there.
Officers, like, I don't know if there's formal training, but there's training for them for tactics. Because I did a rolling stop and none of that happened with me. I was just like, oh yeah, my bad. I did it. I did that. I can absolutely admit, straight up taking accountability, just like you, but it was quick in and out. I was on my way back home, and that was probably the quickest pullover ever. It was probably like 5-7 minutes, nothing like that. Took all my paperwork. That was it.
And I've had those before. I mean, he gave me the officer ended up giving me a warning for improper lane change, which I'm like, yeah, that's okay, whatever.
And that's how I know it's not a protocol or a policy to follow, because everybody has these different type of stories. Like if it's a stop, this is how you should handle this.
Right.
But everybody has different situations or different stories, like mine and yours. Like that definitely shouldn't have
I can
happened.
see if I blew through the light at 70 and I'm swerving like I'm a getaway driver. It wasn't nothing like that. And again, when they pull the cameras and everything, they'll be able to see that. But again, the whole situation was just bullshit. Not because, them or because me, because again, I'm in the wrong. And I got to always look at the situation and be like, well, if I didn't do this, then I wouldn't be in this situation. So again, yes, I'm guilty of, of doing what I did, but what else am I guilty beyond that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't even
I'm the same way. It's immediate accountability, because I'm like, yeah, I definitely did that. I can understand that. So it's nerve wracking for me, because I've been in a different vehicle and had multiple officers, and it's for those particular situations. For me as a female, I never feel comfortable, and it's the element, of course, of getting pulled over. But I've been pulled over, and it's 5 additional officers. I'm like, I don't even have the voice to say, can I get a female officer? Because y'all are here because y'all think I'm hostile because I'm a black woman. Right. Can y'all get a female officer?
Right. And again, you know what? That is a great idea, because you might want to call a supervisor or officer who can more so relate to the person, because I think, different races already, we don't know how each other rock, in different situations. So I just think that you have to be able to call on somebody, because I'm already not comfortable with police for a whole lot of reasons. You know, again, there are officers who do their job and they police differently. You know what I'm saying? They're in the community. They know the people. They're a citizen. They're not just you know, out here and, hey man, look at everybody as if they're a hostile threat.
You know, there's always that possibility of getting that officer, like the one in Boys in the Hood. Remember the black officer?
I've had that.
Yeah, what about him?
Like,
oh yeah, the one who was real mad and
he
was still he was still being
So I mean, just because he's of the same ethnicity or race or whatever doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be understanding.
I mean, he won't be understanding. And again, that was, you right, in Boys in the Hood, that was a different time. And then you know, you had a lot of I don't even know what's the name for him. Uncle Tom, I don't think is the right term, but
I guess we still have a lot of that today, because most of my, unfortunately, horrible experiences are led with a black man.
Really?
Yes. Like the ones that I've had with a white man. I remember an officer like looking at the address on my ID and seeing where he pulled me over, and I legit was right up the street, and he was just like, you know, I'll ride behind you, and literally rode behind me till I got home.
Rode behind you for what though?
Like my tag.
So
long time ago. So that I wouldn't. He literally said to me, "I'll ride behind you on your way home because the officers in this community are dickheads."
Oh yeah.
That was a white officer, so he literally rode behind me till I got home. Because that time of night, I kept seeing cop cars that were just like parked over there. It was like way off in College Park, and he rode behind me on the way home. I had another white officer like approach me, and he was just like, "I don't want to alarm you. This is that and the other." He was just like, "But your tag is running up as your license is suspended."
Right.
He's just like, the way our system works over here, we don't necessarily have to be behind you. It works on the scanner. And like, I was literally just coming out of a gas station. He's just like, your car just put up as like you have a ticket, and like your license is suspended. So like I have to tow your car. And it's just like his approach in coming into it. So it's always about the approach in that. But I always get that at least thought of as a woman or just as a person or as a human from white officers. Black officers, like the one that I got pulled over by in Clarkston outside of my apartment gate, he called 5 other officers. They all men. This was a black man that called all these, because I had been cursing him out because it was the same officer that pulled me over 3 times. And I'm like, man, this is crazy. I know ain't nobody else got the stories the same. You can get pulled over 3 times, but I'm like, it's the same officer that keep pulling me over.
Like he don't mark your car. Every time he see you, he make it his business to make sure you on point.
Right.
And
that was it.
And again, that's a form of policing, but you know, maybe it's the environment that's making these police officers assholes. Maybe
I don't know what it is.
Maybe it's the environment that is making these police officers assholes. Maybe Cobb County got a lot of bullshit going on that they got to be. Well, he did inform me that 2 officers got shot. I don't know if they died. I don't know if they made it or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, they did die. They got killed.
Okay, so now, you know, what I was thinking, and I didn't want to be too mouthy again because he got his pistol 2 inches out of the holster. Do I fit the description of the person who shot these officers?
Not even just that. A lot of times, and you know it too, they be profiling cars.
Yeah.
With Chargers, Camaros, Challengers, all of that, they just automatically assume. Because I had a Camaro when all this was happening, and my Camaro was bad. And every time I got pulled over, it's like, whose car is this? Is this like a drug dealer car type situation? And I was like, thankfully, I smoke at home, and I never have nothing on me. But I really couldn't understand. I would do it every time I would go to a gas station. Everywhere I went, everybody always asked me that. So I was like, I feel like a lot of times I was getting pulled over in my Camaro. It was because my car was profiled.
Yeah.
Now I got a little practical car. I'm like, I've only been pulled over like once for the rolling stop.
But that's terrible. I mean, the whole situation is fucked up because it's like, I mean, you can't even have anything nice without it being considered,
right? You
know, drug backed or you affiliated with a gang or some shit like that.
How did you obtain the money to get this type of car? It could not have been legally. And even so, you're probably doing illegal activities in it, but that was it.
I think I'm at an age where I don't feel like marching and fighting and making a lot of noise. I'm just gonna start filing paperwork.
That's it.
Because
I've realized that now. That's it, paperwork. You got to hit people where the money at, especially, you know, that particular type of racial category. You got to hit them where the money is at. That's the only way they feel it for real.
Right.
There's no conscience and nothing else, so you got to hit them with the money at, where the money at.
Yeah. So that's how my week has been. It's been great. Again, we did a lot of pools and got pulled over by some punk ass police. Hyper clear. I'm fucking pools up out there in a good way, reversely. So they already fucked up.
Yeah.
I'm fucking them up. So,
Turn them from green to hyper clear.
So yeah, let's get into the show. We got a few good stories, few funny stories. We gonna touch on, and follow up and furthermore some shit. Aries Spears is going through it. Aries Spears is cooking like bacon.
It's sizzling.
He's sizzling him. He got a little bit of oil in the bottom of the pan, but his ass is out of the oil.
Sizzling spirit.
Ass is out of the oil. So, Aries, what I want to say is I hope he don't go do it to himself. The situation ain't that bad. You got to stand your ground. A lot of people going to hate you, and people going to find reasons to come out and hate you for particular reasons that they don't understand or whatever the case may be. So as much as I joke and I going on everybody's ass, Aries Spears, hold your shit. Tiffany, hold your shit. Them kids, I mean, again, I seen parts of the video. I didn't watch the whole video in its entirety because it wasn't put out as an artful piece of work.
Right.
It wasn't put out as comedy work. It was put out like, hey, look what these two successful black folk did.
Right. And it was a snippet of something that was just gravely, for me, in my opinion, taken out of context. Yeah. It goes with, like, I don't hear nothing with the casting directors and things like that, because ultimately it was for a movie, for a scene. So I feel like even people, when they watch the video, like, that wasn't the whole movie.
Right.
Like, if you watch Precious in particular scenes, and that could have gravely been taken out of context and just a snippet.
Right.
But with Tiffany and Aries, like, yeah, they cooking right now.
Yeah, they didn't hold the camera. I mean, they didn't hold the camera. And they didn't do everything. So, you know, to put them on the front forward of this is like, you know, it's almost with Thug and Gunna. It's like, we just need faces to bring attention to it so we can cause as much havoc as possible. So,
right. And I don't want to invalidate anything that the children may have experienced or anything like that. But it is still that part of me, and you spoke to it like last week, that believes, like, what if this film had got released and it went big? Would you have went public with that lawsuit? Because this doesn't come from the children's parents.
Right.
It came from the children that were in the scene. So everybody kept saying, well, where are the parents at? And I'm like, I get that. But the parents now are not following that because they knew that their children were actors.
Right.
But it was just the mental thing or the emotional experience that they went through that you can't get out of your mind. I get that.
Right. And I mean, as kids, you know, you do a lot of things you don't have an understanding on what you're doing.
Right.
So, yeah, now that they're a little older, and for them to look back at that again, like with all the information that we have out here now, people are identifying and finding out. I got PTSD from a lot of things and things that they couldn't really
articulate, basically. Exactly. Like, you knew you experienced it, but when somebody else that experiences it and can articulate it, and you're like, okay, that's kind of the same thing I experienced.
Exactly. Now I can put a name on it.
Right.
Now I can focus on, you know, if you're at the point where you're trying to heal, so you're trying to identify the problem so you can heal.
Right.
But yeah, they could be dealing with a lot of trauma from it. You know, I'm not, you know, undermining that.
I'm saying, I don't want to invalidate how they feel at all.
Right. But we would like to show y'all what a real pedophile looks like. Can y'all pull up that clip of my man, Pervert to Herbert? Or Herbert the Pervert.
How did you find your victims?
I found my victims moving from town to town. I scoped them out on school grounds. I scoped them out in Little League Diamonds. I scoped them out in my own backyards, my neighborhoods, and things like that. I worked with people who had younger brothers. I socialized with those people so I could get in touch with their younger brothers and begin the grooming process. And eventually, it would take time, but I knew what I was doing. It was all calculated. I mean, this is nothing that happened overnight. You know, I knew, and I planned it all. It started out where I would move from one town to another. When I got located in one town, I would, you know, survey the children in the town to see. It was always a small town. It was never a big one. Because big towns have big police forces, and big police forces tend not to be very friendly. Small towns have small police forces. You know, they probably never even heard of a child molester or a sex offender, or never even had to deal with one. I knew that. At least I played upon that. And I got involved in Little League Baseball because I knew from my high school days that I could umpire Little League Baseball. I could umpire baseball. I was good at it. I was good at refereeing basketball and other sports because I could not play worth a crap in high school, but I enjoyed the sport so much that I did not want to not be a part of it. So I took up managing in high school, and then our coaches allowed me to referee intramural. And when I got to referee intramural, that gave me direct access to the younger boys. And that was how my molesting began, was in high school, when I had direct access to the younger boys through the intramural.
Certain characteristics that you looked for in children before molesting them?
In children, yes, but more I also looked at their families. If I thought the father was a threat, I would not approach the child. If I thought that the child had friends that he would tell, I would not approach him.
So perhaps a child that doesn't really have a whole lot of friends, maybe not really a strong family, things like that.
Yes, no spiritual values, weak in education, you know, needs help in many ways, even from split parenting, you know, has a mother who may be having problems with the family, you know, well, here comes superhero in to help out, you know, wow, well, thank you very much. No problem. You ever need me to take them away for the night so you can have a night out? No problem. It works.
Y'all better be paying attention.
It was giving their kids up. But it's not funny at all. But I really
this is crazy, because they'll tell people like that are pedophiles. You're like, oh, they're just sick in the head, and people get to be so dismissive. The way he articulated that whole thing, that needed to be seen, because honestly, I don't think even police officers, like he said, like he scoped out small towns because he knew it was a smaller police force.
Right. He took advantage of the weakness of the system. I mean, I think
every step of the way he took advantage of it. Like,
he should have been doing that interview like buddy, y'all remember the movie All About the Benjamins? Y'all remember when Bookham and
Bookham,
when he had his ass up in the shower with his hands like this, and his head was all bound up and everything. They should have been talking to him like that. He was just sitting over there too comfortable having this conversation. But again, like you said, it shows the detail and the preparation that people do. Ain't nobody out here just doing anything,
right?
You know, fly by and taking no chances. Oh, let me touch them and hope nothing goes on. You groom and you do all the same stuff that you do as an adult, what you learn. The same way you deal with people with business, you groom them, you talk to them, you get comfortable, you make them feel comfortable, and then when they're right there in the trap, they don't even know they're in the trap, and then now you just sitting there and you
and people be so dismissive with pedophiles. I get it; they're absolutely disgusting, but like he just showed, like,
and people
that don't mean they lack intelligence
in the community. He said, I'm the umpire, the referee, the babysitter, the everything he wants to be in the field of work that he's in.
Right.
He's all of these things, and all of these things that involve children, you do have to be a little bit more mindful with. The same goes for Tiffany Haddish, the kids, parents. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that Tiffany Haddish was a threat, or even Ari Spears was a threat.
Right.
They didn't even know who they might have been sending them to.
Right.
But as the parent, you have to do the due diligence and go that extra mile and say, I need to know who you are.
Right.
Especially before I let my kids go
right.
hang
and
out.
I think it's just some honest conversations about what's right, what's wrong. And so many people, especially in our community, you don't want to have your talk with like a 7-year-old, 8-year-old to say like, hey, a boy is not supposed to do this to you. Like physically saying what that is, because when it happens, it's something they're ashamed of because they never knew about it at all. And then when they do hear about it, it's like, oh, this thing only adults are supposed to do. Right. So it's that like negative feeling in regards to it. So immediately, it's not something you want to share with anybody. It's not.
And I definitely understand that because again, think about all the backlash that comes with that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of other people will run with your tragedy harder than you can run with it before you get a chance to run with it. So you expose your tragedy and say, hey, I'm a victim. Now everybody's coming to, coming to the rescue and want to damnate the person who did it instead of listening to what this person's, story is and what they heard is and what the trauma is. Because again, the trauma could be, I've been dealing with this for my whole life, or the trauma could be, this is brand new, and now I'm just realizing what happened to me back then, which now ties into a lot of reasons on why I do things a certain way I do. So, yeah, that's crazy. I don't know what they did with him, but they need to be punching him in his kidney.
Right, because he preyed on the weak, like, and
on the weak.
As a coach, you think about all those kids. I ain't even gonna say specifically boys because it's boys and girls. I don't know what his preference was, if he had a preference. But even boys and girls, when you have those coaches, like a lot of moms, like it's just, oh, that's just a coach. They don't really put that together or even consider that. Whereas like, I don't know, for me as a female, like I didn't get to have a lot of sleepovers and stuff like that. I got all sisters. My mom, all my sisters, she's like, oh, they can come over here. Right. But you're not going to nobody else's house. Like, even how we are with my nieces, it's like, no, you're not going over there. We don't trust everybody in there. And even with all the females and whomever they bring along in regards to dating, and we have events, cookouts, and everything. Yeah. Like, I'm similar to my mom where I'm paying attention to all, like, men. Right. All the men and stuff around me, because I'm like, yo, my family is full of a lot of females. Right. So I need to see, like, how you are and things like that, and where it's not a lot of people pay attention to those things. So that's something I feel like it has to start like at home, and before you can let a pedophile come into your house just because it's like, oh, you need a weekend away from the kids. Like you do. You need a weekend, but not with that person.
Not with that person. And again, just, like, and it's sucked and it's sad, but uncles and aunts out there preying on nieces and nephews.
That is a huge undertone in the Black community. That's a big undertone, and it's
every community, I believe.
I feel like it's in a lot of communities, don't get me wrong, but it's such a huge undertone because it's, that birds and bees story that you like hear about or read about or something like that. I just knew I didn't have any Black friends that heard the birds and bees story. Right. So it's just like how other people were taught sex and taught different things for a lot of people in a lot of communities, but I could only speak to our community. Did not learn that. So it's like a figuring out type thing. And as you grew up as a young lady and a young man, that is viewed very, very differently.
Very differently. Being young, like I had brothers and sisters growing up, so we were to sleep over. I didn't have to go anywhere else to sleep over at anybody else's house. And if it was, my parents were in the other room because we all was at the house. So it wasn't, we were out of town on a road trip or something. So, but I do remember getting older or being around different groups, even, let's say, Boys and Girls Club days, young teen days, where it's just boys around and like you hear people talk about certain things. So you're picking up on their mannerisms. And then the same thing, even when I started dating girls, I used to just be so I guess intrigued by what was going on because again, like you said, I'm used to hanging around guys and my sisters, but I don't know what's going on in y'all's community. But yep, we're gonna follow back to that, and we're gonna take a quick break for a second and get back into this shit. But y'all watch hide your kids, hide your wife,
hide them.
This shit crazy.
Oh yeah? That ain't shit. Watch this shit, nigga. Quit hitting yourself. Quit hitting yourself. Quit hitting yourself.
Damn.
Hey, Jimmy, you good up there?
Yeah, I'm straight. These niggas. Oh, shit. Oh, yeah? Motherfucker.
It look like all of them.
What we do now?
Shit. We need to follow that ship. It's probably going where they got LJ at.
Hi, I'm Jeff Jones of Glory Elite Detailing. I've been coming to Jaegers now for over 10 years. The products here are awesome. It has helped to really build my business, sustain my business, and help me provide customers with great products such as heavy-duty interior, the Jaegers tire dressing, the wash and wax, the all-purpose cleaner, the high-gloss dressing. All is great. The customer service here is great. Al Carter, the owner, he's helped to actually strengthen me as an entrepreneur, help build me, give me pointers. So I thank Jaegers as an institution to help build entrepreneurs like myself at Glory Elite Detailing.
And if you guys aren't able to make it to the store, we'll be looking forward to you on the road. Service in all of Georgia. See you soon.
I can. You said I don't know if I saw your picture of that half charger.
We back.
Yay.
We back.
We back. So we just touched on pedophiles. Pause.
How dare you? We just what? We just touched on pedophiles.
Touched on pedophiles.
No pun intended.
It's not funny. Again, it is not funny, but I mean, just for me, I be looking at stuff and I be seeing people and I be like, the mind of how, because we're in an age where we're getting exposed to so much now.
Right.
Like he said, at the time when he was out there, you know, rump roasting, nobody knew what a pedophile was.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knew what, you know, child molestation was. So he got an open.
Not in small towns, like, you know, where he was targeting. Like, we might know about it in a big city, but
right,
we're just as dismissive about it. Whereas, like in a small town, they don't know how to handle it.
Right,
it's not common for them. It's so common for us. We don't.
And it just depends on what level of game you want to step up to. Again, he was just a small city man, so that was good. He wasn't, you know, the businessman in the suit, you know, out here dangling money or dangling, you know, big dollar candy. He was getting close with the families and with the community and sports and everything. But you got, you know, other pedophiles, like, you know, y'all just seen Honk for Jesus?
I haven't watched it yet, but that clip, or the Nuck If You Buck clip, is.
I'm telling you, well, that whole, and I might spoil it for some people, but that is a movie about a pastor being accused of, I don't even know if it's pedophile, because I guess the kids were young enough to be considered children at the time. But it's about a pastor who lost his congregation and everything to multiple lawsuits of.
Didn't that happen here?
I don't know, and I don't want to
say we had something similar to that here. I don't want to say the particular churches or whatever like that here in Atlanta. We got a big name churches.
I can't confirm it, but this is a big city, and it goes to the point, like, this is a big city. So how would a pedophile operate in a bigger city if you're not just doing small cities?
Pedophiles are underneath that kind of sex offender registry umbrella. So it's like people actually really do live around a whole bunch of sex offenders, and they don't even really know it and check out that type of information. So I feel like in a bigger city, it's up to the people to search for that, and up to the people to locate different stuff. But those are people who are all, again, convicted. You don't know what to necessarily watch for when that person hasn't been convicted. So for him, nobody do. Well, I don't know if he had any prior convictions, but until he got caught, he's just operating under this guise of he seemed like a nice guy and a coach.
So now do we got to look at all nice guys like they a potential?
Yeah, nah, because it starts with the conversations that you're going to have with your children.
So it's just, but what about adults? Because there's adults who are being preyed on also. So does that same mentality, can it not translate to
adulthood as well? Adulthood. Yeah, ultimately it is speaking up about experience that you had.
Yeah. And
it's always, of course, scary because once you say it out loud, it's more so the confirmation of it. When you keep it to yourself, it's like, oh, this didn't happen type of feeling. When you're younger, I'm pretty sure there's other things that other traumas involved with it that you can't, unfortunately yet articulate. As you get older, it's knowing exactly what happened, but you can't really say that to somebody else, like, oh, hey, I got raped. And you have to connect and come to terms with that yourself. So I think as an adult, we keep it in a lot more, at least as children. They keep it in not knowing. We keep it in because it's more so that confirmation, and you know what next steps that you have to do.
Right. And you got to take your time with it. I mean, again, I guess exposure is a way of healing. But again, with that problem of everybody else, getting in front of or getting in between you and your trauma, that's not you facing the trauma or fixing the trauma. It's just you saying, hey, y'all, I was a victim, or hey, I was involved with such and such. Now you put yourself out there for the people to judge.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
in the age of information and Me Too movements and things like that, people are quick to like not believe you. So then that right. makes it more difficult as an adult, or just in general. Because people like just immediately are just like, okay, well, why you take so long? Like questioning every other thing.
Yeah.
That pretty much for them, it feels like invalidates the experience that they went through.
And it's a lot to unpack, because I mean, you also, as a kid, you're not responsible for yourself.
Right.
So you look at the people who you was around, you start saying, man, how did they let this happen?
Right.
And everything. So, I mean, I guess, how do we heal, or how do you heal from those type of traumas, and on the victim side?
I don't even know, honestly. It really does start with those conversations, maybe some type of therapy. I feel like everybody needs therapy. I don't care what age you're at, what race you are, especially our people. Everybody needs therapy, because it's the way that you've done it and the way that you've been handling it. It clearly is not working out for your best. So it's like talking to somebody about it, whether it be a licensed therapist. It's just talking to somebody that you feel comfortable with, that can give you a different point of view, a different perspective on how to unpack what you're dealing with, basically.
Right. And I mean, that works, and it sometimes doesn't work. I know people who go through therapy, and I always recommend doing therapy with somebody because I mean, we're having therapy right now.
Right, basically. As I said, it's about who you're comfortable with. Like, I've had therapists, and I'm just like, okay, now I feel real frigid and stuff like that. Like, our energy is just not meshing well. You gotta be comfortable with your therapist, because you're essentially, for a lot of people, telling somebody that you've known in a very small period of time a lot of things that you haven't told the people that it might involve, or people that you are the most comfortable with.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that relationship that you have with your therapist and how you feel is really, really important. For me as a black woman, I was like, I don't care what your credentials are, I needed a black therapist, because it's like culturally, it's things that I may have experienced where it's like talking to somebody who is of another culture, even if they can't understand my culture. It's just like, I know, even without you telling me your personal business, as a black person, like, you probably know this and have experienced it, so you can speak to it a lot more.
Right.
So it's ultimately just finding somebody who you're comfortable talking to. That's ultimately what it is.
It's true. So shout out to all the therapists out there. We're gonna
licensed and unlicensed.
We're gonna start gathering a little list of, because there's a lot of black therapists on the rise here in Atlanta. I remember hearing something on the radio.
I remember that too. And it matters. I want to compile a list of black therapists, black doctors, things like that, because that very much matters, and we need a lot of healing mentally and physically.
Yeah, I know. I want to go sit down on that chair one time and just start spilling my guts. I don't even know what that looks like or how that would come out. Again, because I guess what's the cliche thing? You go in there and just lay down and then just start talking about.
That is such the cliche. That lay down part comes when you comfortable, or it depends on different methods to therapy. Like, it's not just talking that you gonna come out like, oh, I feel so much better. Every trauma is healed. Like, it might be different forms and versions of it, and you have to do things to get out of your mind and get out of your own way. You literally have to break a whole mental habit that you don't even know subconsciously you're doing.
This is true.
So you got to get to deeper levels. So that's when you get on that lay down couch part. It don't start off laying down, but yeah, you'll get to that point.
I want to be in a comfortable spot, have me a nice, martini,
Not a martini.
A martini with 2 olives. I need 3 olives, actually.
You know what? I rock with you. I like martinis too. I need 2-3 olives.
I remember hearing about them all the time when I was young, and I was like, I can't wait to try a martini.
I was just Sex in the City for me. That's a girl thing.
Yeah. But I drink olive juice anyway, so.
Not olive juice.
Olive juice off the hook. So yes. So pedophiles, no. Aries Spears, Tiffany Haddish, yay. But the situation is fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
We do know that. But let's talk about some cheeks. Anybody like cheeks in here?
Cheeks? Like butt cheeks?
Butt cheeks.
Okay. I was about to say, I got really nice cheeks, really nice cheekbones.
So
I got good cheeks.
Until I got like squirrel cheeks.
You got squirrel cheeks?
Well, I've been told.
Wait. What do squirrels keep a lot of in their mouth?
Acorns.
Acorn is a form of a what?
I save.
A what is that?
Acorn is a form of a what?
Of a seed from a tree.
Of a seed.
Yes, a seed, right?
Acorn is a form of a nut.
I don't like nuts in my mouth.
How dare you?
It's a form of a nut.
So
an acorn.
What is appropriate when we're talking about cheeks? Is it a certain location where cheeks are cool to be exposed, not be exposed? Like, what is the protocol with cheeks?
What's the protocol?
Summer, right?
My body, my choice.
What's
the protocol with your ass cheeks? I think it's just more so like in a societal type thing. Like, oh, it's appropriate to wear hair, but unless you got a written rule in your establishment that says that, it's just what's appropriate. Like, you're not gonna be, at work in a business meeting with that type of thing, like, because it's written somewhere that that's what you can't do.
I mean, why not? They getting on. I seen something about a teacher. They were trying to get a teacher fired because of her figure.
Listen, your figure is your figure. I done seen, we in Atlanta, I done seen Coke bottles at Starbucks, Walmart, Burger King. You can't tell me I gotta now wear bigger clothes to cover my body because it suits you because you insecure about your body. Right. I'm not about to do that. I'm not about to inconvenience myself for nobody ever in life. Will I ever inconvenience myself to soothe your spirit, your insecurities, or anything like that? And I've seen that with a lot of women. Like, you can't help your shape. Like, not every woman's shaped like that, and it always goes into the category, like, especially here in Atlanta, like, oh, you shaped like that, you need to just be stripping.
Oh, really?
Right, and it's just like, oh,
your shape means
because you shaped like that because it was a teacher here. Like I said, I've seen a woman at Burger King, and I was on social media with a girl at Walmart. It was a lady at Popeyes, and it was a customer that came in that says that she needed to change her uniform because her husband comes in there and picks up the Popeye chicken, and it's uncomfortable. And I'm like, listen, it's uncomfortable for you because your husband keep coming here to pick up this chicken.
So she must have then had them tasty cakes. She ain't got tasty cakes at home. She
ain't got them tasty cakes.
Damn.
That's basically what it was. But it's a how dare you moment to tell somebody else what they should wear based on like their body. Some women are naturally blessed to be shaped like that. And
I mean, so what about the ones who are not shaped like that? I think they blessed too. Like,
they're still blessed, but it's where people look at in society. Every woman is different. Every woman is beautiful. I feel like their bodies, as a woman, I'm gonna be an advocate, of course, for that.
Can't every woman be a stripper?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's what.
Because every woman fulfills somebody's fantasy, and that's just all stripping is. It's just it's a fantasy and an illusion.
If they got a strip club with big girls with long necks, I'm there.
Big girls with long necks?
With long necks. I've never
that
seen
is
that
very oddly specific.
I mean, but I've
it's like
never
a
seen
tall big girl or something.
Nah, just big girl with long neck. Like, it can't be this right here. She gotta have like at least some stretch. And be a big girl. I don't want her to look like she coming off the line of scrimmage. I mean,
that is oddly specific.
I mean, everybody got a fetish, right? I mean, I can't.
Hey, it is what it is.
Some people like kneecaps. I like,
I got sexy kneecaps and elbows.
Big waist and long necks. But nah, we want to show you a clip of some cheeks real quick. So if you have any
give them the cheeks.
Oh, kids in the room. She got a kid with her. So here it is. We have Exhibit A. It says
Exhibit A. She got the cheeks out. The booty braids. That's what they call. I love her daughter's book bag. It's so cute. It's about as big as she is.
She got a whole boom box. What is that? Is that the lunch pack?
First of all, it can be. Yes, definitely. I think it's a little Velcro strap on with the little heart lunch box. I'm loving it.
So she got a little heart shaped lunch box, and her mom got a little heart shaped
booty
cheeks.
Booty.
I could say booty.
You could say booty.
Heart shaped booty. So okay, so these are cheeks, and it's a problem. And she's at school dropping her child off.
Right.
And somebody obviously had a problem with this because they took the picture. They didn't say nothing to her. I hope she finds the person because she walked by them. So she should know who took that picture of her. And
be aware of your surroundings at all times.
At all times, because you could be a meme or you can be a topic of conversation.
Right.
Because somebody feels uncomfortable. So I don't think there's anything wrong with this. Again, like I was saying earlier, people, if the problem is her outfit and the location that she's at, then I still don't have a problem with it because these kids nowadays have tablets where they have full access to cheeks.
This is very true. Time. And parents don't really necessarily do those type of settings, like social media and where we are with technology. Like back when we grew up, your mom or my mom, she taught me like our address, how crossing the street and be aware of these type of things. We don't necessarily teach our kids any of that anymore. We don't teach them learn this phone number,
right?
Learn this address. Like these are the dangers that come with social media. And I get that for this time and where we're at in this generation, because my mom never had to have a conversation with me about what to post on social media. Like it was non-existent for us back then. So.
But what they did do, my bad from cutting in. Remember when they started offering all of that fake parental control, where you can do this parental control and parental control.
Half of us got Facebook and just got it. Because once upon a time, I remember that was just like college, and then it was just like MySpace and all that. I was just like, say you're 13. Like all I gotta do is say I'm this age.
Right, and there's no checks and balances on that. It's just, you can make your page. So is all of that false? Is like a false wall to give you a perception that, hey, you can have some type of protection and filter against it. I think it's all bullshit because, again, I've never ran into a kid who was like, hey, my phone has parental lock on it.
Right.
I can't do this and do that.
Right.
Well, here, just do it on my phone.
Right.
Well, now the whole problem is, what I'm saying?
I have no problem with the cheeks being out. I think like we started off with, it's more so where she at with it. Because in everyday society, I see it everywhere. We talked about earlier, like, okay, that would be absolutely okay if she was at the beach.
Yeah.
So it's just people's perceptions of, you're in a school. You have to dress like this and do this. At the beach is this. But she got her daughter to school all the time. I'm assuming this is all from assumption I'm making from a picture. She walking her inside to either check her in or walk her to her class. But even so, that's an extra effort that a lot of parents don't make.
Right. Pretty little book bag. She could have been getting the child ready and just
honestly, when I look at both of them in comparison, the mom might look jacked up, but her little girl look absolutely beautiful. Hair is done. She got the book bag on. She's dressed. So I'm like, she's like, listen, I didn't put no effort in me today. I just threw on something. I needed to get my kid to where she's supposed to go.
Right. And you know what? When I see that situation, I always think of Auntie, because Auntie don't, she don't have to uphold by the mother appearance when it comes to school. She's getting the kid to school, and that's what. Hey,
hold on, now I'm Auntie.
I mean, I don't know if you ever had.
Nah, I done been in there with some thug stuff on it. I had some stuff where it's just like, but it was difficult for me picking up my older niece when she was in high school. So I'm like, I fit in here. Like they think I go here, but like, no, for me, because it's not. I don't have children, so I don't necessarily have to consider any of that. So I agree with you. It's not something you think of just dropping them off really quickly.
Right. Or they like, hey, I gotta get to work by this time. I need you to just make sure they get to school. She ain't gonna go find no outfit that's school appropriate. She's been given the task to get the child to school. That's what she did. She's walking the child into school, and then somebody takes a picture and put it up of her cheeks, which I think that's wrong. You shouldn't.
I feel like it was inappropriate for the person behind you, because people that do that type of stuff, I'm like, bro, you weak. You was right there with the person. Why you just ask him? Why you want all of our opinion on it?
Right.
That's number one. But two, you kind of giving me weirdo perv vibes. You behind the person taking a picture of their cheeks.
Because now you got the picture and yeah, you put it out there. But again, it's like, why did you do this?
It's drawing attention from, hey, I took a picture of this girl cheeks. If I show anybody else this on this level, it's weird. But let me take this whole situation out of context. Like, what do y'all think this is supposed to be?
Right.
Like, what's y'all opinion of it? So I think like, it's two parts to it.
And then if it's something serious like that, like I was saying earlier with filing paperwork, take that to the principal and then go through the proper channels and say, hey, you got to put out some type of bulletin to say, hey, if you walk into the school,
right,
then there's a certain dress code. Now that I can respect and that I can understand. But again, you don't know what this particular young lady's situation was when she was getting this kid. She could have been running late. She could have been the mother, the aunt. She could have been having a rough day. Hey, she could have just lost her place and she ain't got nothing but this.
I don't feel like the school even had an issue with it. Like, I've worked in the school system before.
Yeah.
And trust me when I tell you, like, I done seen much worse in different sizes. It is what it is. You could tell from mom, the way that mom is set up. I'm like, okay, you tired. It is what it is. Your children here, they in uniform. They about to go eat breakfast. So it was just something that I worked in most school systems that were predominantly black. It was just something I got used to seeing. So if it was a picture that came through or something that was brought to our attention, it was usually from another parent. It wasn't from the students.
Right.
It wasn't from anybody else in the school system. It was usually from another parent.
And let me ask you a question. That's interesting because you say it was predominantly black. Is that a predominantly black thing?
What?
The way that parents, mothers in particular, dress when they're taking the kids to school?
I would say mothers in particular, because I've seen, men coming to the school with a whole white beater on and stuff like that. I don't feel like that could be in the same category of that as well. So it's just like in that community, that's how they dress on a day-to-day basis.
And is there a dress code? Because I've seen, like I always see when especially in the heat of summer, I'll see a white girl, might be petite, figure, with a certain pair of shorts or booty shorts or boy shorts or whatever. Then I would see a black girl with the same type of outfit, and I say that black women get scrutinized a little bit more because of their figure and their curves, because nobody bats an eye at the little 17 to 19-year-old girl who's a cheerleader who's just wearing little shorts because
it's her size and shape and everything. So our bodies are absolutely overly sexualized. I always had to deal with that in school with uniforms, getting taller, getting shapelier. So it's like, oh, your skirt got to go here. And I'm like, hold on, my arms is long. Hold on. So you got to deal with all those things where I would see, like you said, somebody with less shape, less hips, less cheeks. And it's just like, hold on, they skirt like this big. But I cannot wear that same thing and it be appropriate. So like our bodies, that fashion choice, that same skirt, it's overly sexualized on a body that might be a little bit curvier.
And I hate it because I can't remember what episode Martin when his teacher came back, or he ended up seeing his teacher from elementary school, and she used to turn him on or whatnot. Like the case with the teacher who they saying, well, she's too shapy to be wearing certain type of attire. So when you want her to wear a muumuu in this mug or something, or a gown, like, why should she have to conform her dress to make you guys feel more comfortable? And what is the problem with these shapely women being in the classroom with kids?
Most of the people in that profession that are shapely, I was always drawback from another woman, sadly.
Yeah.
I've gotten that in my profession or my former profession with things that I've worn, or I've literally had a meeting when I was a teacher with the principal of the school about like my body language, and every time she talked, like my eyes would just be like, okay, my eyes were saying something at the time. Like I can't lie about my facial expressions.
Miss me with the bullshit.
Right, pretty much. But it was like I've had those conversations, and like it's just, I've always had those conversations since I was younger. And it's always just something I'm doing wrong that I have to be uncomfortable for the comfort of other people around me. It's like when you're younger, oh, you can't wear this shirt that show your belly button. Like you can't wear that around the boys. They would be uncomfortable. When you get older, you can't wear that. That's too tight or too whatever. That's gonna make somebody else feel uncomfortable. So a lot of women get that, unfortunately.
Society is a funny thing to introduce a kid to, and I see that a lot because a lot of my peers or friends, they have children who are growing up, and it's like, not to say I told you so, or to even say like, oh, I'm happy that a lot of things that I seen being problems before they came, and now to see these kids growing up, it's like all this shit did come to fruition. And it's like it wasn't nothing that you can do about it, because if you are not in a proactive mind, or if you're not, in some way sensitive to society, but not saying that I'm going to conform everything I do and I'm going to raise my kid to be anti-society, but not conform, is something interesting to see now that I'm getting older and I'm watching friends' kids get older and get out here in the world, and it's like, man, what do? You know what I'm saying? The only thing you can do is plant that seed into them and hope that you're the first person to introduce something to them before society gets a chance to teach them. Because like you're saying, the term will make me feel or make them feel uncomfortable. I mean, you almost want to say, well, the parents got to talk to their kids, you know what I'm saying, so they won't feel comfortable. Because if a girl walked by me butt naked right now, you know what I'm saying, I'm not, it's too many times I'm out with different guys or a group of guys. And I mean, anytime a woman walks by, I'm like, nigga, why are you so horny?
Right, and for us,
right
I don't think men realize that we could feel like that energy or whatever. Like I can be somewhere, if I go outside and I see outside of a gas station, there's a whole bunch of dudes, I'm like, all right, cool, I gotta go to a whole nother gas station. Like it's too much energy in the way that they perceive certain things. From literally, I could change up the minute things in what I'm wearing and get more guys that I have a conversation or want to have a conversation with me. And it's the way that they're looking at me. I'm like, bro, this is really disgusting. For them, they feel like it's a compliment. I'm like, no, it's actually really uncomfortable.
Like the gawking, and I'm like, guys, like I hate when
you'll see that a woman could be butt naked or wearing short things, and I've seen that even on social media. And some men will go to the narrative of, oh, she deserved that. Look at what she wearing.
What does that mean? Like that's I want to say that's a sick mentality.
It really is, and it's a lot of sick men out here, and it's anywhere that we go in society, whether it's gay men, straight men, women. Everybody always says, for women, when you're trying to protect somebody, you're always doing the protection from men. So it's just like you have your little sister, or you had a sister, and there might have been moments in your life, like her life, that you didn't want her to go to because it was unsafe, and it wasn't. It was unsafe because there was probably a lot of men there,
right?
Some type of male energy,
right? And I mean, it's just what I guess what the perception is, what could happen, what's the worst case scenario. But I've been in situations also where it's been on the flip side, where when I was a flight attendant. Walking down the aisle and doing peanuts and Coke I had that same feeling that you had, especially with women, because again, women
definitely do it with sexy men. Like for women, I can see a woman if an ugly guy come up to them, they're one way, and a whole sexy guy go by, and it's just like, hold on, that wasn't okay when that guy just did it to you, but it's okay if you do that to this other person.
It goes both ways, but then it's also I guess it's a base courtship type of energy, but when it's over gathered is the problem. Like even a group of women, you know what I'm saying, oh hey cutie such and such such, I'm like, what is it for? I'm not that cheap thrill. So I mean, again,
and women are more aggressive about it, and I say that as a woman just from different stuff that I have seen, because at least as uncomfortable as I have been in particular situation, it was never anything physical. I've literally seen women go like around a guy that had a nice body and is going up to him and touching his abs, and it's like, I wish a guy would just go to me like, oh yeah, there she got nice abs, let me go up and squeeze it. Like what?
I have been groped. I can't even count. I would say at least 20 times on the plane.
Did you report all these people?
No, I don't. How do I know these passengers? And then,
because the other way around, they would have.
Well, they would have, but again, and I understand that unbalance. So me taking those L's is not really bad for me, because I do understand when some guys say, nigga, stop bitching. Like, why are you whining? Because there's niggas out here who cannot get no attention from women.
Right.
And then it's the same thing in vice
their
versa.
walk or whatever in life. But if it makes you feel uncomfortable, male or female, because too much in society, and especially with men, and especially with black men, it's just like you got to push off what you feeling or uncomfortable. Like, same thing with women. If you like this guy, or this guy is handsome to you, you'll allow him to do certain things or be a certain way that you wouldn't with another person that you like. So for you, if you didn't like any of them females and they just, basically molesting you.
I've been molested on the plane, right and left.
Groping you and
takeoff and descent. And I mean, again, I didn't feel threatened because it wasn't like I was under the impression that they was going to catch me around the corner and try to rape me, and they overpower me and rape me. So that was like the worst case scenario for me, and I'm like, I'm not in that type of danger.
Yeah.
So it's playful, but it is disrespectful.
It's disrespectful. It ain't even like playful, and some men think it's playful. I've been groped in the club, and it's probably why to this day I have this pet peeve. Like, if I leave somewhere, if I'm walking somewhere and you grab me by my wrist, I almost like black out, because we about to fight now. Because I've had that happen to me in the club. Like, guy just and I was in the club with friends, and it just one time I'm like, yo, he just dude, like, and then when I reacted, he looked at me like, what's up? You look good. And I'm just like, I don't it's not registering to you what you just did, how uncomfortable I am.
Right.
So he had to get his ass beat.
I mean, and that's absolutely right. And how much time you say we had left to break?
Yeah, a minute and a half.
It was I don't know, the Good Fight just came back on, and they had that as one of the topics in that show, where they were talking about the metaverse. Well, not directly, but they were talking about being in the metaverse or a metaverse type place, and at the point when they offer you body sensory type of gear to go with these games and stuff, and you're walking around, and then it was this woman who was in the VR, and she got groped by a group of like 5 dudes, and it was a traumatic experience for her. So she took them to court and was trying to sue because she had been molested in there. And the judge wasn't, judge was like dismissing it, and then it was like, you got to try on the suit and see. So he tried on the suit, picked a sexy young lady, went into the virtual world, and the same thing happened to him, and he almost spazzed up there up front. So everybody has it and deal with it differently.
Yeah, that's something. You just open up a whole nother avenue.
Oh yeah, it's going to be real. I mean,
it's going to be real. Where we're going with metaverse and things like that.
Yeah.
But
if they start offering sensory suits, and again, I already seen it, because that's the whole point. Like, even with video games, or if you playing Call of Duty, you want to feel the bullet impact, or if you shooting, you want to feel like you running, or if you driving, you want that vibration and sensation or whatnot. So it's something that's going to come up. But everybody need to keep their hands to themselves, and that is just the safe way to go about it.
That's what you tell little kids. Keep your hands to yourself, or I'm gonna pop you.
Right, and don't go touching people, because a lot of kids grow up, and again, affection is something that we teach them naturally, but we don't give them a line. We don't give them a barrier. Like, you just can't go and hug everybody. Everybody, strangers running up to strangers ain't cool. So, but yeah, keep your hands to yourself. Don't touch nobody.
Your mother hands to yourself. Yeah, that's what your mama taught you.
It all started with a vision, a hustle, a grind, discipline, dedication, faith, and loyalty. Sophisticated savage, the brand, the lifestyle. It's just different.
Yo, Jay.
Whoa, Roscoe. Long time no see, dude.
Been busy. What's up, though? You got some bud?
Of course, dude. I might be swimming, but I'm not drowning, man. I remember you told me $30.
Yeah, about that.
Dude, don't even worry about it, man.
Word. Just let me get like a gram or something.
I got you, bro. You want some California grandpa food? Or you want the Brokeback Mountain?
Give me that California shit. I don't want no Brokeback nothing, nigga.
Hi, welcome to the Juicy Crab. Come on in.
See, yeah, I don't agree with that at all.
And we're back. We back.
We back.
Yeah.
So we hope y'all enjoying the show. Again, shout out to John Wilkes.
Yeah,
we out there working hard.
We missed the opaque one.
Right. We need that fact checker over there on the right side with his laptop.
Is that what he is? The fact checker? He is the fact checker.
Mm-hmm.
He's our balance out because we're mellow.
Yeah, and I don't know anything. I just be speaking from my heart. I don't know anything.
Say, man, that's our Aries Scorpio energy up in here. I don't judge people off their mind faces. I judge you off your heart, how you treat me. That's it. Am I comfortable around you? Because I could think this thing around about you, and then the second I get around you, I'm like, nah, I feel real uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. I think this year, everybody should do their due diligence and get real close to Scorpios because there's gonna be some shit.
To Aries? Oh yeah, I know.
I said Scorpios.
I said to Aries.
Y'all season.
Y'all are Earth sign. What is it? Earth, water, fire.
Water, fire.
Earth, water, fire.
What is that?
Is that Captain Planet?
Planeteers.
He's a hero.
She's summoning the Captain Planet over this mug. I'm talking about.
I just love how you said water.
That's so racial.
What? Water.
Yeah, why he say it like that?
I don't know.
I think
but it stuck with you.
That was King T'Challa before King T'Challa.
Water.
You need the water.
Where was Captain Planet at during COVID? Monkeypox came and went real quick like that. What happened to that? What happened to? Yeah, because that was getting up there.
It didn't work out what they thought it was going to work out, so they kind of like just brushed it under the rug.
I seen it.
I learned my lesson with these COVID shots. I was like, I'm not ready for monkeypox. COVID, not dismissing it, but I'm like, okay, monkeypox to see. Sign me up, doc, right now.
They nasty out.
Sign me up, doc.
People are nasty, period. And
Did you see that viral video? The man that went to McDonald's, and then there was a video follow up where it was all fake.
It was all fake. I was just about to say that, where he was taking off he
you gotta be a sick person to sit here and do that when there are people actually out here that actually have it.
And
he did it to get publicity for a rap thing. And I'm like, first of all, you suck before and during, after monkeypox. All versions of whatever you did to promote yourself, your rap sucked.
His skills wasn't up to par.
Not up to par. I'm like, okay, maybe you should do other content. Maybe that's where you need to go at. But don't go into rapping.
I mean, well, that he accomplished his mission by going viral with it. And again, different people choose different things to do, and people are willing to go a certain limit to put themselves out there and expose. I think it wasn't funny because people are suffering from it, but what he
That's
did.
like him to come out here and say, "Oh, I have cancer." Oh, ha 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 ha! It's just a joke. Like, hold on, there's people out here that's really suffering from this.
Right, but it's like now you got to prove it. We're in a prove it day and age where it's like, look, UFOs. Show us a UFO because I've seen how they can digitize it and mechanically make it look like a flying saucer. Hell, if you got you a drone and you just put a drone in a saucer shaped saucer, you got a UFO
Basically.
sighting. I mean, just straight up, and everybody will put up the same video and be like, flying saucer hovering over target. What?
Nah,
what
he
the
gonna
fuck
be
is
the
going
boy
on?
who cried wolf. Because if he actually was to get monkeypox,
Exactly.
anybody gonna believe you now?
But see, now he's gonna have to be Hoyt. I mean, seriously, Hoyt. He's gonna have to have monkeypox level 3, and be, with
Like,
an
I ain't
IV
playing,
hooked
y'all.
up.
I ain't playing. This ain't a joke. I can't get it off. I can't get it off. It's real.
It's real. It's not a fire drill. It's real now. But we got another clip. What
was the last clip?
We want to show some other stuff too, because there's some more stuff to talk about that's going on out here. Oh, the new technology one with the hovering saucers. I like that one.
A new device called LeviPrint uses sound waves to levitate and manipulate objects for touch-free building. In LeviPrint's video, you can see the interference patterns created by the sound waves. The video released by LeviPrint shows the device using sticks, spheres, and UV curable glue droplets to build a variety of different shapes, structures, and this orange cat thing? This LeviPrint technology could be useful in the biomedical field where they're worried about cross-contamination, or in manufacturing things like watches or phone cameras due to their small and sensitive parts. But it'll probably be a while before we see anything like LeviPrint being used commercially.
So I seen that clip and I was like, this is dope, because we was having a conversation, I don't know if it was a week or 2 weeks ago, about, space and NASA and, our traveling. Elon Musk supposed to be trying to get to Mars and fuel.
Where are we going with technology and how much technology is changing? We got metaverses and Teslas and all that different stuff. So the technology is already here.
Right.
It's just more so the ideas and the creations and putting that all together and making that where it's pretty much making it, if they want that to grow, making that a necessity that people need in their home. Like, what's going to be the benefit of it?
Right. A commercial household product. And it's like, what can you do? Because again, if they show it, I've always believed that once they show it and expose it, they've already had it for 10
We've
to 20
been working on it. Right.
Right. So it's nothing new to them. It's just new to us. With that, like, I don't know what's the limitations and what's the maximum you can do from that, but it's like basically you can.
That's some Iron Man level type shit.
That's what I'm thinking. You can print some shit out of thin air, or it's getting to a point to where we will have that iPhone that's completely clear. Like, you seen that glass iPhone that got no case enough, and you just put it up and it's like a pad.
3D printing still mind boggles me. Like,
It is.
For that, I don't know how long that's been around. Like, but just that, like, people now like can get a 3D printer and create stuff and be on Etsy, like, with a whole business and things like that. So it's fusing different stuff that we already have out there in technology, and I'm trying to piece together like what would be the use for it, because somehow that's going to be in people's households. Like, a lot of people are going to want something, whatever that does.
Right.
People are going to want that in their household.
Right. And they talking about like using it for doing surgeries and everything, because then they can get in there, they can perform a surgical procedure with sound. So it's like, imagine you just roll this person into a room or a chamber or something, and then all of this sound starts moving vibrations and it's repairing you. Like,
Right.
it's really something that I think
Therapeutic in some type of way, because there's a lot of stuff in our body that does resonate on different frequencies.
Right.
So it's that, but I think that's the best use of it for medicine, but we'll see how it goes.
I was just thinking music application, because I was thinking when I first seen it was like sound waves, I was like, you know what, like how Yondu whistles to make his arrow fly around. So it's like, if you make a certain song, or if that song has certain frequencies, ain't no telling what can happen or how that can unearth something like that. Because you ever seen them play like the sound waves in sand, and it forms different patterns and shit. Like, all of that stuff is very intriguing to me. So I'm kind of curious to see where that goes and what they use with it. And I think me, Panay, and John Wilson was talking about jet propulsion, or how are they going to travel, or making a fuel.
Yeah, you're gonna beam me up, Scotty.
I think that levitation is forgotten technology.
You said it's forgotten?
I think that was something that was really prevalent one time ago.
I do
when
too.
You think about how Stonehenge, Ponte Pico, even the pyramids, when you think about the monolith size of the structures that had to be moved from one place to another.
Yeah.
I think levitation was a technology that was used back then, and it was lost information.
See, if John was here, I know he would tie that in some way to Star Wars, because you think about like the you think about the first Star Wars created, like even with spaceships, when you start seeing that on TV, it was always just like beam me up.
Right.
So it's like that technology and the ideas and everything, they've been there for like years. So I agree with them. Like I feel like that's been there.
Yeah, I think they built the pyramids by just hard labor. Like they had a whole civilization of people to lift one stone.
Oh, you think it was like Wakanda type thing?
Man, no, not Wakanda. Like
they can't duplicate.
Pick this stone. They pick this stone up.
Now, I feel like they had what we have now in machines. We just not, of course, the resources like the metal and stuff like that. So I think it was like with a lot of maybe things created with rock, stones, and
wood, stone, and rope.
Yeah, all them different stuff to make it easier in some type of way. They're creating the old school levers and the crank stuff that we know and all of that. So I think that was there. It was just more so the resources along the way that we've learned with metal and how we're getting here with technology. So we've always had it.
There are structures that have blocks that have absolute 90-degree precision. And there aren't any tool marks on these rocks. It's just cut absolutely with a 90-degree precision. Like, they can't even do that today without having a tool mark.
Well, when they did that,
without using a laser app, I should say.
They did it back then, and then if we count for time erosion and everything, and let's just say normal wear, I mean, you could smooth something out over time with traction or with friction, right?
Yeah.
Right, but the blocks are all the same size.
Yeah. But what you talking about, before they started building or after they?
No,
like
I'm
you
talking
about the
about,
current
I'm talking
state
about
of what they're
ancient structures that the blocks are all the same size and they're all the same cut.
Yeah, they probably had to grind. They probably grinded and sanded them down. Like that's what I'm saying. Like this is not something that I'm saying 100 people. Like we think of if you go build a building now, if they're putting a building up in the middle of Atlanta right now, you probably got maybe 300 plus people. We talking about 3,000 or 30,000 people
right.
who are under the rule of, I want to say the Sultan, but the Pharaoh, the king at that time. And it was like, you didn't have say so on, I want to go to work today. It was like, no, we're building a temple for the king. We don't care if it takes 30 years. Get that ass out here and put your hand on a rope. Or even if they were building pulley systems at that time, you think about it, if they had a big turning wheel that you needed 50 people to push just to be able to lift a stone, or a grinding wheel, because they had grinding wheels also. So if you got 20 people turning this grinding stone and then 50 other people got to push this stone into position so they can smooth it down, I think that they were that devoted.
Right. And I think a lot of the creation outside of machinery, and it's very bits and pieces in different places. Like they went from old school math, like with geometry and how it is with architecture now, and a lot of it went from astrology. Like a lot of it was based on creating something that followed the North Star or something like that. So a lot of that old school math and that old school astrology, like that they pulled up on creating those machines. But yeah.
So yeah, that was just a cool little clip that I had seen, and I'll be always thinking how things are going to be 20 years from now, because again, like you said, we in the Tesla age, we in the
we got the resources, we got the technology, and that's the thing with technology. Like they'll create something and everything is about how fast you can get it, how fast. If there's going to be a benefit to you, it's just about the speed and efficiency of it.
Right.
And so yeah, that piece of technology that's going to find a way to be in our households.
What about a sound chamber for public travel, like a train system,
like in Wakanda?
That's what I'm saying. And like what I was talking about with them traveling out of space, because I think I don't know if it was John Wilkes or you that said they got a beam that they can fire, but they just need to focus. The beam needs to be strong enough so they can make it a pathway. So with that sound, it's like you don't have to have a beam. You just have to have sound emitted to move this thing around. So how would that work out of space?
But I feel like there's a lot of stuff.
Sound would not work out of space.
Why not?
Because it's a vacuum. There's nothing for the sound to bounce off of.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Do you not think that it's propelling? Because again, it's sound and it's just dissipating, I'm guessing.
So in theory, I guess you could propel yourself
in a direction.
In a direction from here.
Mm-hmm.
But once you're out there, sound wouldn't be effective.
Right.
At all.
But they're not even using, because they're using the trajectory. Like even when we send stuff out of space, they're using the trajectory. They're using measurements. They're using math.
They're using gravity.
Right. So you wouldn't need it that much. I mean, as far as just getting going, then you don't even really need it. In space, you just need to get going in that direction and then let everything else work itself out, gravity-wise and the calculations.
It depends on what you need to bounce off of it inside of space.
That's what
I'm saying. What you need to be bouncing off of something inside of space. I'm pretty sure if they find a need for it, they'll create the technology for it. Because you got satellites up in there. So whatever this is, you got satellites and other stuff you can throw up in space that can bounce off of each other, depending on how close in range or something that they are to each other. But it's ultimately, what do you want to bounce off? What do you want to be out in space?
You have to think when objects are moving up there, they are moving at an extremely rate of speed. It's not like here, like they're moving at astronomical
speed
numbers.
of light.
When you know, so
well, like see
if
that
you're planning on bouncing off, like physically bouncing off of something, you're like you're probably going to destroy whatever it is that you're trying to bounce.
I mean, but like think about it. You could be like in that clip, it showed that it creates a sound wave around it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the sound wave is around it. You don't need it to be encapsulating, like let's just say a space shuttle or a satellite. You don't need it to be around it. You just need it to be on one end to get it going. So once it goes, and then like let's say, okay, well you're approaching this planet, you can emit enough sound, and I don't know again because vast is space. Space is vast, and then like you're saying, it's a vacuum. So if let's say if you're going past Jupiter and this is your vehicle, and you need to bounce sound off of here to kind of alter your direction. I mean, it'd be a lot of sound, I guess, but if you're just moving in a particular direction, I think it's something possible. Hell, and again, I'm just spitballing because they got stuff that levitates, so I'm like, there's no limitations to
you got a
anything.
fixture there. The satellite keep going around, or is it more so like fixated inside of there? Because you got space, and I'm with you. Like if you think of like how a grid, like how New York is created on the grid, and throw that type of plane up in the air, you could have stuff that's, like I said, it bounce off of each other inside of that grid, different points in there where it's going to bounce something inside of space to do something.
Well, bouncing off, you gotta.
Iron Man. What did I say when you get Iron Man?
What?
It's going to be doing all that Iron Man stuff. Let me just.
That's what I'm saying, just levitating.
Yeah, we're gonna bring that up inside of space, and then we're gonna have it in the stores where it's like a new trampoline.
Right. Speaking of bouncing, we gotta watch how we bounce our energies, because like I said, all the years go by fast. Everybody always say we always say that when it get to about the 6 or 7 months, it's like, damn, this year just went by quick. It's like, nah, like. You got the tax season, the first 3 seasons, everybody,
This year didn't go by quick for me. It didn't. I'm not going to say it went longer, but it was just.
You said it didn't?
Mm-mm.
It's been, slow and steady or?
Not, slow and steady. I'm like, okay, September. But when I look back on, at the end of the year, I review everything. That's time for me to review different stuff. I'm like, I'm definitely not in the same place that I was in January or last year at this time.
Word up. And then a lot of people are, I think everybody isn't, and it's showing in everything that's going on out here in society. Like you said, people are kirking out, losing their mind. We got the young lady who, I'm still waiting to hear information on the lady who ran through the stop sign. Oh, they did say that she blacked out. the lady who killed the 6 people
in California. Yeah.
They're saying that now she blacked out or had a mental blackout, which I don't know what that is, but we got a clip of somebody else blacking out, and can y'all roll that beautiful bean footage?
Case of a woman accused of intentionally plowing down her boyfriend with her minivan in a Kroger parking lot. She also hit a pedestrian who later died. WCPO 9 News reporter Whitney Miller was there this afternoon as her charges were announced. Whitney.
Yeah, Tanya, Hamilton County Prosecutor Joe Dieter says it was jealousy and rage that led 24-year-old Tavia Chapman to put her foot on the gas. Now she's facing life in prison.
I'm a little frustrated.
Thursday, Hamilton County Prosecutor Joe Dieters laid out what he believes led to the death of an innocent man last month in the Spring Grove Village Kroger parking lot.
She took this 3-ton vehicle and plowed into him and plowed into Christopher Griffith, an innocent man on a cane walking across a crosswalk.
Dieters released the surveillance video of the crash. He says 24-year-old Tavia Chapman was angry after she found out her boyfriend wasn't being faithful.
While he was in Kroger's, she apparently went through his cell phone and believed that he had been in an inappropriate relationship with her sister.
His punishment, getting plowed down by her minivan.
One of the more disgusting parts of this thing is that after she plows into these 2 people, her car was disabled. She exited the vehicle, leaving her 8-month-old baby in the car, and proceeds to go to her boyfriend and start beating him after he's been run over by this car.
Griffith later died in the hospital from his injuries. His brother Greg
It looked like
Can you show that part one more time? Right to when she went and started thrashing Buddy. It's not funny. I promise you, I don't.
She looked like.
I don't be laughing at the tragedy of this.
I don't either.
I just
the bouncing back.
After he's been run over by this car.
Griffith later died in the hospital from his injuries. His brother Greg told us he wants Chapman to pay.
I'm just devastated by this, and I want her to be punished for this.
Chapman faces life in prison.
I'm just devastated by this, and I want her to be punished for this.
Chapman faces life in prison. Among her charges are child endangerment, murder, and attempted murder. Prosecutor Dieters commenting, what this woman did is sickening.
I just don't understand why this had to happen at all.
In downtown Cincinnati, Whitney Miller, WCPO 9 News.
In Cincinnati?
I mean,
they got K. Rogers in Cincinnati.
You say K. Rogers?
K. Rogers, that's what I call it. I don't call it that other name. So if you ever heard anybody call it K. Rogers, just know they got it from me.
I thought I remember Roy Rogers used to be a.
Nah, that's K. Rogers. Spot. We got K. Rogers here in Atlanta.
Internet
if you're K. Rogers, that comes from me.
But he called it Kroger's. I hate when everybody put the S on the end of it because there's no S on the end of Kroger.
K. Rogers.
In an extended clip of that video that we don't have, but she, like, people started gathering around. Security guard came out of Kroger.
K. Rogers.
And there's actually a joke online about the security guard because they said, he didn't really do anything. He walked over to her like he was going to do something, and then he saw how hostile she was, and he just kind of stood back.
Mm-hmm.
He's not getting paid. That's not.
And people started saying that online that he probably was trained by the Uvalde Police Department, but.
Nah, that's messed up. Listen, if my job as security guard is protect the assets, you outside the store.
I'm observing.
Right, I don't have nothing to do with that.
I'm day with the whistle. I'm blowing the whistle on everybody.
I'm trying to tell people, security job is not to make you feel safe. That's not their job. Their job is to protect the assets. They're there for the company. So what was he protecting the assets of outside the company?
So after she beats him and people started gathering around, she panics. So she runs back to the van. She gets in on the driver's side. She tries to start it or something, and it wouldn't move or whatever.
Yeah.
She exits on the passenger side, and she has a little 7-month-old, 8-month-old child in her hand that popped out the car seat when she hit the first guy. Wow. And when the van kind of cocked up on its side,
it teetered.
Yeah, the baby popped out the car seat, and she just left the child in there when she went to go beat up on him. So yeah,
that is a different fit of rage, and this is why I'm so proactive on.
Like, so I'm trying to follow the whole thought process in her mind. Like, it's just you going through your phone. The man that you came into K. Rogers, he's still inside of K. Rogers
with the groceries in his hand.
With the groceries, you got your phone going through his phone. It's now I'm gonna plow through or just run this car in rage, not focusing on anybody else around you. And then, like, when it hit whatever, I guess it registered to him, the person coming out, because he had just come out of K. Rogers.
Yeah.
And she was just I'm like, girl, you didn't get the groceries, your kid.
You ain't get him in
nothing.
There. You just, whatever, because it wasn't like that was her first time, or it didn't just pop up. She had her suspicion the whole time.
Right.
So when he went in the Kroger, it was all cool. And then she's like, yeah, I'm going to go through his phone. And went through his phone and found what she had been looking for. At that point, she made a decision.
At that moment.
Yeah, at that moment. And she decided before she was going to fuck him up if she found out he was doing something. But now you with my sister and you out here doing the wrong. She hit the gas pedal. She wanted to run him over and kill him.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted, that's
what she wanted to do.
I can't see nothing else from, I didn't see, she wanted to fuck him up or put him in the hospital and then come in there and lecture him to death on why he did wrong. She wanted to out him right there or off him right there.
Basically.
And then took out the gentleman, the white gentleman who was walking behind. They showed him on a picture on a motorcycle. How you ride a motorcycle with a cane?
I think that was like beforehand or something. I don't know. But as he was going across that crosswalk, I did see him walking slowly and definitely needing a cane for assistance.
He should have had one of them little carts. He'd have got across quicker. But then also, that's why I tell people you got to be mindful of your surroundings too, because again, you don't know when it's going to happen, where it's going to come from, and then you definitely can't plan for that.
Right.
So it's not like you got to walk around every day like, man, I'm gonna be ready to dodge a fucking car as soon as it jump out. Cobra Kai, I got him. But yeah, that's terrible and unfortunate. But like I was saying, we gotta learn how to manage our feelings and everything, because again, everybody
manage our feelings better. And like, they don't call a man's intuition, no offense to y'all, it's called a woman's intuition. So you knew. Right. You looking through that stuff was just confirmation for what you already knew.
Right.
But
that's when you're supposed to get quiet and silent, not speed up and hit the
quiet
gas
and
pedal.
silent.
Yes.
Exit stage left.
I mean, but you again, there's a 7
no nonsense.
There's a 7-month-old baby, so that means
no nonsense.
They just had a child.
That's cool. No nonsense. No nonsense with me.
She was supposed to leave the K. Rogers in his hand and then go.
Yes. The moment I found out, all right, cool. People, that's why it'd be such a struggle for me in certain things. It's just like I'll never fully rely on somebody. I will emotionally and different things like that nature, but financially, nah. Because it's just like, okay, you want to make that move? A billion people in the world. I know I can find somebody else.
She did him. She should have did a Mary Kate on All American Dream, the Jackson 5. You remember when Angela Bassett left? When she was finally done, because Joe was in there having that conversation. He told me, I'm gonna run go get some ice cream. And then the phone rung and she went in the other room and picked up the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know what I'm talking about?
Talking about Katie, like
Katie May.
As in
yes.
Catherine Jackson?
Yes.
Basically, he talking about that 12-hour movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
that Michael Jackson movie is literally outside of, what was that?
It was 3 days long. I think when they first
premiered. When they aired it, but like if you watch it straight through, I think it was about 5-6 hours or something like that. It was
separated in 2 different 3-hour segments.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, she should have pulled one of those instead of that, because that's unfortunate. Because I mean, now you got 3 lives that are directly
affected by the actions of somebody else, and ultimately, whatever happened. Now, at the end of the day, yes, your man, baby daddy, husband, whoever he was, cheated on you. You now have grave consequences for your actions.
Right.
That's why I was like, control your actions in the beginning part, and I can only control me.
Right.
Whatever you did. I can only control me. So
right
now she paying for endangering the person that she hit, the old man that died, you endangered yourself and your child.
Right. And now you're not only
you got a murder charge on somebody that wasn't even the person that caused you harm. How you feel? How you gonna be feeling sitting up in jail? I'm in jail for killing somebody ain't had nothing to do with what I was mad about.
Psychological.
How dare she? But that's something don't nobody like to hear that straightforwardness in that way. Like, you in jail for killing somebody ain't had nothing to do with what you was mad about.
I would like to hear what she has to say, because, you know, in these situations, and I believe that everybody deserves a second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth chance, because again, it's always so much to unpack when you're dealing with a person's mental health.
That's very, very true.
And that's what it come down to, because I mean, everybody can quickly say, "Oh man, no sane person would do that." Like, you got to be crazy, but crazy is.
We all have insanity inside of us, because sane, especially in the legal terms, like, it really can't happen for a split second. For a split second. I've had a moment for a split second. I sit here and look back on that. I've had a few moments. That one moment could have altered my whole life.
Absolutely.
And it's a very small window of time that can change that.
Everything from you know, making decisions out here in traffic. That's what I said earlier. You know, when you driving, like, you got to think about that. If you going slow in the left lane, and I'm circling back around, but like, if you going slow in the left lane,
defensive driving. I feel like I took a few defensive driving courses, so. However I maneuver, left, right, up, like, I'm always in constant
defensive. I always tell people I drive offensively, because they
don't have offensive driving. They have defensive driving, but you learn those skills and tips and everything like that, like how to maneuver, especially with people on the left side, or they in your blind spot or whatever. Like, you got to teach people how to drive like that. When you learn how to drive and the basic rules to get your license.
Yeah.
That's not nothing that's really taught.
They're not teaching that at all. But I'm just like, even common sense, and I'm saying, like, even in those, because everybody has a different driving style, right? Everybody comes from somewhere different, where, you know, the driving laws or the regulations or even the side of the road is different. But in those small instances where you have those road rage situations, it's because of a misunderstanding.
It is.
So it's like, if I decide to cut this person off because they've been driving slow for the past 2 miles, and at that moment that I decide to hit the gas and swerve over, somebody could hit the brake in front of me. Again, now I just screwed up my whole life. So you gotta monitor yourself and keep yourself on the even keel out here. That's why I say I listen to music.
I do defensive driving because I'm comfortable in my driving, but unfortunately, I've lost a lot of people in car accidents.
Yeah.
So like I'm just mindful of different stuff, and it's something that's really quick.
Right.
Really, really quick.
Really quick. And I mean, I spun out I used to have a Mustang, and again, somebody hit me and spun me out right in front of us, right there by Regal. And I lost control, and I'm like, this is something that was not my fault. And it was like, you got to be that mindful out here. And I don't think it was a lot of busy traffic. It was a little rain out there, so it was slippery. But it can just be somebody else who's in a rush, and then they can come and clip you, and it's all over. So again, I do empathize with the families that lost a person, because again, he didn't have nothing to do with it. He didn't have nothing to do with the text messages, with the mother, with the child, with the van, the whole situation. He was trying to go into K. Roger and get him some goodies or whatnot. So, but yeah. So, but all in all, to wrap up. Keep yourself on the even keel. I know we've been talking about
keep your hands to yourself. That was a lesson we learned today. Watch out for your surroundings.
Keep your thoughts to yourself.
And
file paperwork. So, you know, posting pictures of people doing stuff that you think is bad, it can have a negative consequence, because again, you putting somebody's information out there, and you don't have a story. So I don't think you should ever put anybody's story out there without having the proper information and also having that person's side. But
that's it. And yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for joining Furthermore.
All right. Y'all.
Yeah. Furthermore. Check. Come on. Take a moment, reflect. We just gave you an earful. They breaking down the blocks while we build with some ill tools. Over hill views while we charging the battle. Time is over the limit, critical with your cattle. Casual, curious content, change for your nonsense, raw thoughts. Furthermore, no drooling, no vomit. View it a farming. We invite you to with the comments. Till the next time, take the share button and harm it. Yeah.